Hey guys, in this video, I want to give you a brief overview of the new work in progress properties system, kind of what you can expect, how it works, and how you can use it. So again, like with all my stuff, it's meant to be kind of limitless. So where the real restriction is how you want to use it, but it's pretty straightforward. And I got an example currently with the spotlight. So I'll drag it on out. I'll just rotate it so it's pointed down a little bit. And if we go over to details, now we have an option called properties. So now we can see the properties panel over here. So here I can lower the intensity down. I can turn it on and off. And this string test is just a test for the sake of serialization. But I'll turn it off. I'll go ahead and I'll save the map as map 1. If I hit play, I'll go ahead and load the map. And here you can see we have our light that was off by default with the intensity of 50, and I can turn it back on. So saves, loads, and all that kind of stuff like you'd expect. And yeah, this is not limited to lights. This is not really limited at all. So it uses your basic data types. I'm going to keep adding more and more as I go along, but I'll show you examples with the Boolean and float. So the way this works is, again, it's interface driven. So you can see I'm just derived from an actor, but I've implemented the SKG map editor interface. One of those functions is called getAllFloatProperties, and I have a helper function here that pretty much it will get all the types of float that you set, so SKG intensity, cone angle, well, inner cone angle and outer cone angle, and it will return them. But it will return only the ones that contain the prefix SKG. So that's why I named these SKG intensity, SKG inner cone angle, so on and so on. You can do this manually as well if you don't want to do that. So for example, if I make an array, I'll go ahead and make an element to add to the array. And I'll just add a new float, and I'll call it my example float. Give the type of float. What I can do is plug that into current value, and then simply put the property name in like that. And that's it. So now if I head over to here, I play the place on the spotlight, I hit it on properties, you can see my example float is now in there. So that's how it kind of reads and goes through. But again, this portion here is more so to automate the process and make it a little bit easier. And it's the same thing with bools. Like same. So right now we have floats, bools. Well, when I say floats, I mean doubles because it's UE5. We have strings, integers, names, and text. And they all kind of work basically in the exact same manner. And then there's different events that fire off. So here we have one for when a float property gets changed, when a bool property gets changed, when a string property gets changed, name property, text, integers, so on and so on. And the reason behind this is to help control, one, changing things. So like when a float changes, I adjust the intensity and everything. So really this kind of allows you to expand it, grow it however you want, and not really limit you in terms of things like replication. So for example, I already recorded this earlier and I messed it up, but I'll go ahead and undo the replication. So for example, if I wanted to replicate intensity, what I can do is I can just set it to rep notify, head over to the on rep, go and copy this, paste it in, file and save, and now we're good to go. So whenever the server changes SKG intensity, the on rep will fire, and which will allow basically all the connected clients to receive this change so it can set the value. So that's kind of the idea behind the system is, one, not tie you down to a bunch of replicated stuff by default, so you pick and choose what you want to replicate. And two, have enough flexibility to where you can work with really any sort of primitive type and just have it affect whatever you want in whatever way you want. So naming doesn't matter, type doesn't necessarily matter. You just kind of pick and choose what you want. But anyways, this is still the beginning of the system. I only started working on it this morning, so expect it to change, mature, and just get more, I guess you could say, opened up over time with more types and that kind of stuff. But anyways, that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.